Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 47 of Rannoch out of another Boreal CS build in its 821 tile late game phase at night time during a downtown ferry stop. Isn't this wonderful? The cars moving on the bridge in the background. Can we see a train? Or a metro? that'd be perfect timing, wouldn't it? City Skylines. There we go. Oh my god, it worked as well. I didn't even see that. There goes a metro as well, right? The game listens when we need it to the most. Absolutely wonderful. Welcome back to Monday, everyone. If you're watching this on release, and indeed a downtown, very busy metro hub for us all to enjoy as well. Tremendous, isn't it? Every time I load in to record an episode, I just have to spend just that first little bit just enjoying the sprawl of a late game build. And we've got kind of Edinburgh and Rannoch are both in their late game phase at the same time at the minute. So we're getting lots of sort of late game action in City Skylines 1 and 2 as well at the minute, which is very cool. I love the end of the life. It's always fun to have such a sprawl, isn't it? Either way, today we're going to be filling this space pretty much on screen here. I think I'm going to save this right hand side of the arterial back to the highway for a separate project. There's quite a big space to fill over here as well. We'll likely do some more residential projects through this way. But over here, we have a great suggestion from Harry to use the Sea Fortress, possibly the Aviation Club. I'd like to get an amusement park down here as well today. And then in here, I'd also like to explore the concept of a vanilla sort of heritage rail yard site, using the train museum and of course some train lines to function as a rail yard. So that should be two pretty unique projects, I think. And we'll start with the former. So let's come onto this hill here. It's a great idea from Harry here to use the Sea Fortress. I guess even from a historical standpoint, this would have made sense, right? Of a defensive position by the strait. Definitely would be sort of fortress appropriate, I think, wouldn't it? So with this, let's come into our unit buildings, and we'll grab this one. Sea Fortress, of course, I think one of the base game unit buildings, isn't it? And how about we get it right on? I mean, where's the best? Where's the most defensive place there? Right on the precipice. Just gonna sit looking out over the fort, over the strait. I don't mind it sat there either. I think that's quite tasteful there, isn't it? It's gonna be a really nice addition into what is to turn into be a really interesting waterfront. Pretty much everything from down by the bridge, or the park by the bridge, coming all the way through here is a really interesting space now. Possibly even more scope for cruise terminals as well. There is a lot of cruise ships in this strait. They really do stack up sometimes. But that'll do for right now. We can see some wildlife as well. We have wolf and a bear, fantastic. Always love the animals around it. Let's give a road connection for this. Let's come off of our guidelines entirely. And I'm just going to freeform this. Now, do we want to go... I think I'll probably save the rest of this elevated space, I think, for a bit more parkland, maybe. Let's just bring the road back down to this local collector system. Super, so that'll give it a road connection. I also mentioned an amusement park down here too. With this space here, let's see if we can't formulate some kind of entrance for our amusement park. I think I'm going to do something a bit different with the entrance here. Let's see if we can angle it so it's pointing into the park, if you like. Get that area painted out at the same time. We'll also name it Harryland as well, after a suggestion today. And then let's position some car parking on this approach road. And then let's just terraform there as well, so we're not disturbing the car parks too much. Probably might key this off, I don't know. Might leave it quite natural actually, I guess we'll see. But maybe a little rock wall or something just to protect the amusement park here today. So I think at some point I've entered the game with unlock all active, because of course we haven't done an amusement park in Rannoch before. But when I have everything unlocked, I've obviously saved it and then actually turned it off again, but that has left everything unlocked. So if you're following along here, you will need to go through the usual part progression milestones. We've done this a million times before, you know what to do. But I do actually have everything available from the start. So let's map out some path networks. Let's come off the road guidelines so we don't start snapping to what's going on with the road. And let's see if we can have some fun with these amusement park assets here. I think I kind of draw out a bit of a pathway that people can walk around. I think I probably am bothered about charging people to get into this park. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens with it. But I definitely want the roller coaster over here, I think. Certainly front and center by the water, I think, is just a vision I have in mind. Why don't we remove those angles out of the path network and see if we can have it here, because it's already pretty low to the ground here anyway. So if I can just have it sat without disturbing that natural shape too much. Now I think I'll have a building directly here. And then we'll have this roller coaster sit straight opposite there, I think. Really, almost like the orientation of the roller coaster is kind of the most important part of this amusement park build here today. Yeah, I think that's what I had in mind, just so it's kind of another feature on that waterfront. You know, you've got harbour, you can see bridges, stadium, sea fortress now. Amusement park as well, of course. And we'll keep that theme going as well, you know, we'll try and keep these more interesting, eye-catching builds right up against the water as we continue to develop the northwestern bit of the sea. Fantastic, that's wonderful though. So with the amusement park assets, I find it's always best to keep them very compact because of the horrific tiles that sit on them. So let's bring in an amusement park plaza. We will box that up straight away, actually, perhaps with some tree line pathway. We'll try use the two different variants. And then around the plaza we can have our usual collection of amenities, souvenir shops, restrooms, cafes. Bring some more pathways in. Squeeze past there if we can. We can indeed. And then we'll get some of these game corners sat together around the corner of the road. Just using the right option to create a full circle with the pathway running between, right? It's so much better if you leave those tiles together. They have very harsh edges, which I think can really hurt it in vanilla. Wonderful. There goes the black chirper mascot. Fantastic. So the only people that are here at the minute there. no one wants to visit Harryland just yet. Oh no, here we go. Customers are coming now. Well, they're turning around and leaving, essentially. Wonderful, that's great. Let's continue to throw in more assets here. Definitely a piggy train. Piggy train is top 3 assets I think we've had in the game so far, isn't it? We'll have this back to back maybe as we begin to send up the hill, which I'm happy to do, but I just want to make sure we can get some back to back piggy train action in this particular section of the park here. There we go. Let's start to bring some trees in too. Let's do something a bit more exotic, right? Let's pretend it is a bit of a theme park. Let's perhaps go for some California palms, which is not something we see very often at all. Ilos, isn't it? Sorry, Ilos? What am I talking about? This is not Ilos. I was thinking we see them all the time in Ilos, is where I got confused there, I think. Yeah, I think some brighter little sparks of colour really go a long way there, don't they? For an amusement park build like that. Very tasteful. Very tasteful indeed, I like that. And then let's just bring that path to a close as it comes around the back. And now we'll slope up to where I want some things to sit atop the hill here. So let's just even everything out. And then we'll come to some terraforming and let's just shave off a contour line or two, right? Without changing the actual shape of the land itself. I just want it to sit at this layer so we're not having to deal with those assets on the terrain, because it really starts making them look kind of jank city if you don't pay attention to terrain with part life assets, I think. So as we move up to the next layer, let's have more tree lined pathway. Contour lines would be helpful here as well. Yep. And let's change those trees. Let's do bamboo, potentially. I think probably also upgrading the whole plaza pathways there as well is going to be worth it, isn't it? Fantastic. I'm liking that. And then let's just continue moving through our asset pool. So there is some bigger rides as well. Certainly the pendulum, I think, deserves a pretty prominent spot, doesn't it? So we'll do pathways first, just so it helps us know where we're sitting. Let's have that one there. And then we'll do pendulum here. Splendid. And with that, let's do a little angle here. I'd almost love to kind of tear it off in a more rigid angle like that, actually, so we'll just slightly mess about with the shape there. I realise I promised not to terraform in most terraforming projects. and then up terraforming anyway. It's fine. The terraforming police seem to have calmed down these days now. They're definitely more on the less vocal of the Skyline's law enforcement agencies. I think let's maybe rotate that one around, right? There we go. We've got the log flume up here as well. Really sweet. Let's also get the drop tower ride, which I think might look quite fancy if we can kind of make it sit nicely with the pendulum swing there as well, right? I guess if we need to decide now if we're going to use... I think I will. I think I do want people to pay to get in here. So let's just throw a side gate there. And then we can delete those side roads, and then we'll blend that in with terraforming and fencing so it doesn't look quite so lonely. Let's have that there like we wanted. Do I want it slightly further away, or do I want it right up against it? I probably want it right against it, you know. Probably do. Let's see if we can surround these taller rides with much more smaller ones. We'll certainly have a Ferris wheel as well. How about right? How much room left do we have to play with here? Maybe here for the Ferris wheel. We'll just flatten out that space there. So it should end up being one of the more interesting amusement parks we've done this one, especially with it being built on such weird terrain, which is not something we tend to do. Oh, would you look at that? It sits and fits. Goodness me. wasn't that amazing? I love that. And carousel behind, potentially. I think so. Yep. Do we want to bring keys into the question? I think let's have a look at some content creator keys. I think let's do simple city key. The road guideline would be nice here to hit the pathways. And then just like that. If we dare. Yeah, I think we do dare. I feel like this is a really dangerous body of water, right? It's obviously very deep and a very busy shipping lane. I feel like it wouldn't just be left for people to waltz into a very busy amusement park like this, right? You imagine it would probably be fenced. So we'll go with the key, I think. We'll bring that all the way around, and then that pretty much rounds it out, I think. That uses all of the amusement park assets, doesn't it? Maybe bar the haunted house. We've got everything else in there. And then we'll detail the rest of this up with props and whatnot and more spaces when we come to our detailing time-lapse. So the new park is drawing thousands of people backing up the highway even. So we need to extend our public transport options down here. And I think it's impossible to refuse the temptation of a monorail embedded within the park itself, isn't it? Why don't we see if we can do that? So I think we'll go with the one with the road. Now if we can have it... Yeah, I want to make sure we've got enough room either side of it. I think this is how I want this to look. And let's bring that in a just very rigid design. That's going to be fine. And then temporarily with the little cross, we can grab another side gate. This one here. I can actually pick the building itself. There we go. So I don't like what's happening with the monorail currently. No, we did actually have comment during the 81 Tiles episode expressing displeasure at the fact that the station wasn't by the stadium. So I think to meet both criteria, we'll move this station over here onto monorail station with road in some configuration. Sorry, no, just the regular one actually here. Which should be possible. We just need to take a road out first, which we will do. That's no problem. Let's get that in. We can just get over the bridge here. Don't hate that. Then again, I could possibly... Yeah, this road can just be relocated anyway. Cool. So it is perhaps a little bit sharp, but I can live with it, I reckon. With that flowing now. Let's get that stopping at the one in the park, and then it can stop at this new stop in the stadium, both sides. then again where we removed it from too. So we could keep both. It's 3 in very close succession, but I guess one does converge with Metro, so we can probably justify it. I do like it here. Or we'll just replace it with car parking. Either way, right? Imagine the transport police in the comments if I replace public transport methods with a car park. They would be untold fury, wouldn't they? Really would be. And then with this here, I think I might even go for 2 gates. And how close can I bring you together? Have one there and there. We can centralize it that way, although having said that, I do actually want to bring the monorail through, of course, because it will continue down the coastline. I'm seeing just how much space we have left to fill this side of the west coast. Maybe we should just be a little bit careful of nodes, maybe. Just a tiny bit, possibly. Who knows? Here, just need to reconfigure the car parking again. Go down the coast, and this should look really cool as the monorail passes through the amusement park, which will just look awesome. And then we can almost have a little path coupler, if you like, coming up here, okay? Although once we've arranged these, we will. So let's just try and get another one. There we go. And then let's, of course, have a tree-lined one here, right? Make sure we get a good 10 stretch of these in. And then we'll have it come down here and just meet those guidelines. Something like that, I think. Although the one under the monorail will have to be without trees. Super. And then let's also have them connect there as well. And that should be a really nice feature, especially once we get all this detailed. I wouldn't even mind a bit of commercial here as well, you know. Let's get some activity going here with some zoning. We'll need to just slightly amend the terrain at the back there, otherwise the commercial will really cut into it, which we don't really want. And an airport apron, I think, is also due here, isn't it? As we can prepare for some minor prop work during the daytime time lapse today. Build that in about there. Superb. I'm probably going to keep this road clear, I think. It's a real busy one, isn't it? Is it the Sea Fortress? People love the Sea Fortress, do they? It's not too bad. I'm hoping once the current AI wave refreshes, get some new generated paths in, it will calm down a bit. Wait and find out though, of course. Over here, let's do some fencing. Although I've just said, be careful of the nodes. Almost immediately start using node fencing. Yeah. And then maybe some trees just to begin formulating some landscaping ideas. I think I fancy some birch through here. I think birch and monorail go very well together, actually. It's quite a modern, simplistic look, isn't it? That looks cool as hell. I love that. That's really nice. I love monorail. It's severely underused, I think, isn't it? Cool. But let's leave this monorail system and metro to do its work. And hopefully, did I actually drag? Double check. Yes, I did. Just wanted to check and put the monorail, the metro station back. We'll let this do its work and hopefully calm that traffic down while we turn our attention toward the use of the locomotive halls, which is a unique building over here, which happens to perfectly centralize there, doesn't it? So we can get some car parking at the front of this. And I want this to kind of look industrial, so certainly this is definitely like a tourist attraction, right? There's people visiting this, the train police, right? This is a great day out for them. So was at some point a functioning train house or associated with some kind of train yard, and that said train yard is still behind it, and with lots more train infrastructure around it as well. So from this, I think with this one here, now I would not advise you actually do a project like this if you're filling an enormous map, something like Bay Rivers that we built Orchid Bay on, because you'll really burn your node count by doing this. It's not sort of cheap to do. By using the node controller mod to remove the nodes out of it, you can totally nullify that, which if you're on PC, you can just do that anyway. But totally vanilla or PC, and you have big maps, I probably wouldn't advise living in a rail yard because they take up an absolute ton of space. Right? But we've done these rail yards a million times before, right? Let's just create a simple ladder system where trains can come and go from. We have to delete some here as well. Let's bring some nicer curves in perhaps somewhere. It will talk at me. There we go. Super, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now that's a ton of nodes. I'm actually just going to check what Rannoch's node count is here. 54% now. This is the Watch It mod, by the way, if you're wondering. That shows you these limits. We still should be alright at 54%. Like, we're just over halfway and we've done a lot. So we should be okay. He says in a slightly panicked voice. We're certainly bringing some fencing around here, right? We don't just want the train gang wandering out onto the rails. So let's border this off right by the road here. And I think I'm going to be quite happy. I wouldn't mind a bit of industrial evolution, I think, you know. Some older buildings maybe matched up with the guidelines of the rails. Something like that. And I think with this road, which I actually want to change anyway, because I want the cycling to continue through here. Do we want the trams to go? I don't know how I feel about trams going across the highway interchange here. There is also metro and monorail now through here. Do the trams really need to continue? I think the answer to that question is nearly always yes, isn't it? So just under here, should be no problems. Straight the way through. And then the bikes can also carry on as well. Cool. And the trams can come. One day that tram line will make an incredible first-person tour as it heads all the way to the other side of the city, essentially. It'll be really cool one day, won't it? Again, that is probably quite a long way away. So, don't look forward to that anytime soon. There's a lot of projects over this western coast that need to be completed. Cool. So I'm happy to have the entrance there. And then let's send that right into the corner. And then maybe down here too. And then, yeah, with that road as well, which is what I was going to talk about. Let's remove the zoning. Just so it prioritizes it on our industrial roads. Let's put in that industrial evolution. And we don't have any industrial demand right now, but we will in the future. So this will just pop up, do different sizes around here. And then completing that wonderful little fence accent, I think will give us some really nice, slightly grimmer outer-lying industrial highway orientation. To describe this view very specifically. Or sort of edge of the city here, right? Isn't that a bloody good view? Probably one of my favourites, you know, from the northwestern side, looking back to the city. Really sweet over here. But, you know, once that just revolution's in, you can also see the amusement park nicely from here as well. With that monorail line. Yeah, this will just look really sweet, I think, won't it? As it grows up and develops here. Really, really tasty. Let's bring some more parking in here again as well, of course. We are right by a visitors centre, so we'll have some there. And then let's even do some fun path work out the front, you know, because this is like a big tourist attraction. Let's have some trees and paths mooching through the middle. We'll grab a road, saving 4 more spaces for our car parks. Either side. And then we can just repeat that pattern. You can keep doing this as well as many times as you wanted, really. Makes a great kind of big box aesthetic, you know, in vanilla. Especially if you stick a mall at the top of this. Very sort of American layout, isn't it, of car parking and trees and malls and outlets, etc. The American dream. Of course. And then let's give it a fancier tree. Should we do birch? This could be tree spicy, actually. Say that 3 times fast. 2 tree spicy. Something a bit more discreet, I think, not to block the view of the train at the top of the road there. No, I think we need actual bush, don't we? Perhaps a roadie. Or just a linden. I think in doubt, linden, right? That's always the rule. Yeah, wonderful. That's a really cute frontage, isn't it? It's obviously heritage of the train museum here. And we do have the blimp depot over here as well, which is likely to move, in all honesty, I think. Don't think that'll stay here. Would it be averse to also actually adding in another metro station? Not metro station. Would I also be averse to including another cargo station as part of the yard itself, you know? I'm going to find that out, because it is connected in here, so it would get traffic, only from one direction though, which is fine. That doesn't really matter anyway. I can make do without that. Now, I don't think I actually want this to be accessible from the visitor side of the facility, if you like, for lack of a better phrase. I think I'll actually feed it back into this intersection there. Although not using those roads all the way through there. Let's just have that there. And then with a bit of tasteful apronage, we can perhaps start to blend that stuff together, right? So it's recognising the heritage of the rail industry in Rannoch, whilst also still being a functioning rail yard behind it. To be honest, the blimp stuff actually doesn't blend that... It does blend in well, doesn't it? Maybe not when the blimp's landing on it though. then you can obviously tell what it is, but it does just look like kind of generic industrial space beyond that, doesn't it? Bit of a service building. I suppose the wind flag's a bit of a tell there, isn't it, I suppose? Yeah, I might not actually be totally averse to keeping this over here. Let's see if we can perhaps find a new position for it. Let's just stick it over there for right now. If we grab one of these roads. I don't know why I'm using this road everywhere today. This little industrial one here. I'm deciding it's going across the entire build. And it won't fit there, but I reckon it will if we just position everyone slightly differently, won't it? And then we're just going to put this in like that. We can blend that in. Wouldn't mind a bit more industrial zoning around here. This stuff's maybe gone a little bit too high level though. Some of it's even abandoned as well. I think if we're going to move industry down there, let's actually take it away from this site entirely. I don't really want it on this arterial road over here anymore, right? Do we have services over here? What we like for police and fire? We've got fire. Police. No police, okay. I think let's just include... Do I have the police here? I think I might actually include it as part of the yard. If I can actually do some fun things here. Can I delete that? I can. I think with a bit of apron, we can just add it to the yard, if you like, for lack of a better phrase, right? That way we'll just have another facility, almost like perhaps it is, you know, rail security. There is perhaps customs here, if it's coming from external sources and whatnot. Don't mind a bit of a police presence by the rail yard there. We've got plenty more space to do that continually down there as well, don't we? Do we want to move this fire station into it, I wonder? We'll just tuck it in next door. Well, that'll come together quite nicely, I think, as we be into detail, which feels like a good point for it now. We kind of got both builds, at least a skeletal frame to them. Let's go ahead and detail both of the new monorail stops. Finish up the park as well. There's a few extra assets and some prop spaces, benches, picnic areas, etc. Lots of straight viewpoints and little benches here will be quite cool. And then blend these two spaces together as well, so it all kind of seems like one giant tourist attraction right next to the stadium here on this waterfront. And then develop something for this transitional space. I think we might just keep this forested, you know. I'm kind of happy to kind of, you know, have those forest pockets reappear now as we begin moving out of the ultra civilization, you know. A bit more forested out here might be quite cool, so I might just leave this all dense forest. But lots to do and lots of fun to have, so grab yourself some snacks because it's time for the detailing time lapse. And we'll be right back. let's have a little detailing review of what has turned into a very unusual combo build of a cliffside amusement park attractions with the rail yard across the way as well. So a really fun space. Either way, we'll start off with the rail yard here, where we have a path that now connects into the stadium development. Up here you can discover plenty of signage telling you the life and times of this fortress, etc. You know, fending off attacks from Palaven, Bavaria, I imagine, is what's detailed on these billboards here. And a really nice addition, great idea, Harry, for the sea fortress to be positioned here. Really sweet. Nice spot for it. And is currently occupied by the Spanish, it would seem, as well. DMA. Benches and fencing also accompany this along the cliffs as we arrive into the top level of the amusement park, which has all been fenced up. As you can see, the monorail leave over there in the distance too. And the traffic's quite bad around here, actually, especially just from the direction of the park. The interchange and the city directions are still pretty free-flowing, but there's just a lot of AI stupidity here. I need traffic manager to fix that, I think. With them just trying to get back on the highway, but it is actually kind of quite thematic. Like, it does move, but you know, you are getting stuck in traffic coming out of the main amusement park, which I thought was pretty appropriate. You usually get stuck in traffic at these things, don't you? And then through here, lots more park and prop detailing, lots and lots of picnic space to enjoy. Wonderful views across to the strait, even a very distant view over to Angel in the valley over there. Isn't that cool? I really love that. Very nice indeed. And you see the dam from here, actually? Yes, you can, just about. Kind of hidden with the rocks, isn't it? But still. Very sweet indeed. And then we have all the attractions here. The park is extremely busy. Fencing and rock walls, attractions and whatnot, all on the top layer. Up and down, same thing again. Spaces to enjoy the waterfront, further attractions, playgrounds, piggy trains, roller coasters. The monorail flowing through the park is particularly special. I really like that. This is almost actually a homage to a park in Bogusia. For those of you that remember that, there'll be very few of you that will. The amusement park on the sort of second half of the downtown, if you like, on the other side of the water. Quite similar, actually, to what we've done here, but this is much better than what happened in Bogusia. But really fun, right? How nice is this space? There's some great screenshots around here, I'm sure, right? Really sweet. We've got the grill spaces here. People taking the metro. If you want some ridership numbers, let's have a little look. 268 on the metro and 66 on the monorail, which is fantastic, isn't it? And hordes of people. So many ants all moving through here. I've actually put on the policies and up the prices of the park. So it's making us a tidy 7,000 profit, which is really good. That's great. Getting 200 people a week coming through. Which seems like it's more than that, really, doesn't it, when you take a look at the visual, especially when you get a big rush of them all coming in. So this is really cool. Commercial and detail and path and lots of green belt through this space. Further down here, installed a Japanese office building we had spare. I just really wanted this here just so I can see the monorail coming through the park, really. Didn't stop the metro here. That will stop over here now, probably at another town centre that you can imagine developing around here, right? We'll have a new town and sort of development start to really kind of round out the edge of the map now. We're not that far away from the map edge. We certainly won't come this far, I think. Maybe just down to these last little river deltas. Maybe that's where we'll kind of finish the civilization there, if we like. So 2 or 3 more episodes, I think, over this side of the city as it continues to develop. We've still got a whole this side of the highway to do as well. And then I really want to get up into the mountains, do some mountain village stuff in the not too distant future either. Looks like we also need to re-slope this somewhere. Is it pooling? It is pooling, isn't it? Yeah. So we want to make sure that's sloped so that'll just flow consistently. That's why it keeps breaking apart at the bottom like that. But we can do that, no problem. On the other side of the highway, we have lots of car parking. I think, speaking of those future builds, we'll probably install another big mall space here as part of a future episode. Well, we have all this car parking, which is getting used as well, which is quite tasty, isn't it? Looks nice and busy here. As the train gang, the train police have a day out, right, in Rannoch. They come here, they look at this big picture of an old steam train, and they're like, yes please, that's fantastic. And then they walk around the edge of the building, and then they can see a working rail yard, which is exhilarating, isn't it, I'm sure. We also have some industry in here as well, generic and industrial evolution. Prop work, Extended concrete aprons just to open up the back of the buildings in the further yard, right? Water towers as well. Then some well-trodden pathways, almost as like train yard workers are cutting back into across to the various industrial sites here, right? I wanted to try and install that. I've made a lot of these historical too, so they remain this old brick style, which is really what I want. Don't really want the modern warehouse stuff around here. Happy for the occasional one, but beyond that. And then lots of overgrowth, as you would expect to find in a grassy train yard like this. Lots of nature reclaiming the land vibes, etc. Really sweet. A really little fun space and a great idea again for use of the Railroad Museum as a kind of nod to Rannoch rail heritage with the working rail yard behind it. And I'm really enjoying this part of the city. It's kind of our last dense bit of suburbia, you know, because beyond that it's the mountains and then the rural towns that'll sit on the south side of the strait. I guess there's only probably one more down here, isn't there, where we have the ferry stop. And then a lot of this stuff over here that's left on the north side. It will be rural stuff as well, so it's kind of the last of the suburban density, if you like, which is a little bit sad because you know you're kind of moving into the much later game stage when you have finished your kind of outer lying sprawl areas, for which we are making very good progress here in Rannoch. But otherwise I'll shut up and leave it there. I want to thank you all so much indeed for watching. A massive shout out to the patrons and YouTube members that support these videos, with a roll call to our golden patron eggs: Andrew Perez, Bad Wolf, Casino, Darius Lara Roberts, Louis Adlam, Phoenix MD, Barton Angel, Tiana Sanon, and Wesley Kip. If you want to get involved in that, links down below to Patreon and Instant Gaming. Best ways to do so. Otherwise, I'm still enjoying Rannoch as much as the day that I started it. CS1 Vanilla is still so charming and just enjoyable. It's a really fun experience, and part life always combines nicely. This time with industry. A really weird combo build today, but I hope you have enjoyed it. I'll shut up and leave it there. Enjoy the cinematics, and I thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.